MarsBands.com.
So let's go ahead and list the members to start out with.
Okay, it's myself, Toby Uffindell-Phillips. I play guitar and lead vocal. And then we've got Dave Tonkin-Smith on bass, Andy White on sort of Akai synth keys, and Steve Martin on drums.
So you guys are from the UK, right?
Yeah, we're from Southeast UK, that's right.
Okay. So the Burning Shapes, you guys got started in 2009 or 2010?
2009 we started officially, really. That was at the end we were recording our album, but we weren't playing gigs until 2010. So we started recording before we went out and played shows and stuff. Okay.
So prior to Burning Shapes, you guys were Sound Sanctuary, is that right?
Yeah, three of the members of us had been releasing. Well, we released an album and a few EPs under the name Sound Sanctuary, which is sort of acoustic electronica stuff. And basically, Steve, our drummer in Burning Shapes, he joined us right at the end of that project as we were sort of touring around the UK promoting our album. So he kind of joined at the tail end of Sound Sanctuary, and I think that was sort of a bit of the catalyst that for changing the musical direction, really, because we were very much using sampled drum beats. We were kind of creating, it was acoustic electronica, so it was fairly chilled out music, really. We were playing a lot of acoustic venues, and we brought in live drums, and it sort of changed a lot of stuff for us. And we're quite an indie band at heart, so that the introduction of live drums really brought that out in us, and we decided we wanted to make an indie record. So that's how Burning Shapes came to be.
I see. So the album Dust, was that from Sound Sanctuary or was that Burning Shapes?
That was Sound Sanctuary.
Okay.
That was the Sound Sanctuary album that we finished with.
Okay. So I've listened to some of the music that you made under Sound Sanctuary, and I've kind of compared it to Burning Shapes. And while the two are considerably different, it does seem like at times there's some overlap in the sound, especially like with the harmony. Is harmony is that really important for you guys? Is that something that when you're making your music you say, how can we put harmony in this? Or is it after you make a song you say, okay, now let's try to add some harmony?
I think it comes very much from our taste in music initially. I've always loved music with harmonies in. I grew up listening to the Beach Boys and Beatles, and then later on sort of Crowded House. So all these bands that I've sort of have an affinity with, they're very harmony strong, and it just so happens that from very early on meeting Dave and Andy, everyone sort of showed an interest in singing. So when we first started writing tunes together, there was, we naturally gravitated towards vocal harmony. So it's not something we try and do, but it's something that it just feels like that's, when we write a song, that's the way they turn out. They're very vocally orientated. You and
Dave and Andy, you guys were all friends. You went to school together?
Well, actually, Andy's my cousin. Okay. So he's a couple of years younger than me. And Dave I went to school with. So I met Dave at school. And when we formed our first band, or had our first band practice, really, it wasn't even a band at that point. Andy was been playing drums, and it was a natural thing to call him in, really. So he's pretty, Andy's been playing with me and Dave from the beginning. Even before we had band, we were sort of jamming and playing in garages, that sort of thing. And actually, funnily enough, Steve Martin also went to our school, but we didn't actually know that until we met him, because he was a year younger than us, so
I see.
He was in the year below. But yeah, later on we got introduced through a friend to Steve and found out that he went to the same school. So 3 of us went to the same school, and the other one's my cousin.
If you're walking down the street and you start chatting up with somebody, and you tell them you're in a band, and they say, "Oh, what kind of band are you in?" How would you describe your sound?
I would say we are. That's always a difficult question, isn't it? You always try and be very inventive with this answer, but I'd probably be fairly dull. I'd say it's indie rock at heart. It's definitely indie rock, but vocal harmony is a really big thing for us. So it's I don't know. It's got that West Coast thing as well. So it's British indie rock meets West Coast, surf pop almost.
MarsBands.com